My name is Sheil Catholic. I began attending Sheil about a year and a half ago, and I entered the church this past Easter. So I consider this to be my first real Lent. This week's reflection question is, honestly? About 10 years ago, I was living in Oklahoma, my home state, and was invited to make the Ignatian retreat in daily life, a small group format that met over a period of 34 weeks on a weekly basis. Well, one of the men in this group was a real character. He was mid-60s, tall framed, with dark, wavy, very well-oiled hair. He wore large, black, round-rimmed glasses and spoke in a rather erudite manner, but with a thick Okie accent. Think part professor, part playboy. Well, 3 weeks into this retreat, this rather unique individual cornered me and, peering down over his glasses, said, "I think you should come to my AA meeting." Now, two thoughts immediately popped into my head. One, I'm not an alcoholic, and I'm really not. Two, what was it about me that prompted this guy to invite me to his AA meeting? It rather unnerved me a bit. My response was, "Oh, okay." The next Tuesday evening, I showed up at his house, and for the next year and a half, I became the most religious attender of this man's AA meeting. So what was the deal? What kept me going back there so faithfully for that amount of time? Well, even though I had been leading small faith sharing groups for over 15 years, I had never learned to share with such gut-wrenching honesty what was really going on in my life, in my mind, in my heart. For the first few weeks, I barely spoke at the meetings. I didn't know how to do what these men did each week, so I mainly listened. And what I heard stunned me. They shared so openly and honestly about the committee in the head and how they felt such intense anger, hatred even, and how they felt insecure in their relationships with significant others and powerless in dealing with their bosses. What stunned me was that on the inside, I was just like them. Except I didn't know how to share and talk about this stuff. And I was trying really, really hard to appear on the outside like everything with me was A-okay, when it really wasn't. Over that year and a half in AA, I eventually learned to come clean about my own fears, insecurities, resentments, just brokenness. And somehow, by sharing about these things openly and honestly with others, I also learned how to open up and let God in to kind of help keep me on a little bit more of an even keel. Well, as you might imagine, I think very fondly about that professor/playboy character who saw the "I'm going to try to be perfect" veneer of my outer false self, and he didn't buy it for 1 minute. Just like Jesus did with the woman at the well, he was willing to peer into my heart and risk stepping in to the mess of my own inner humanity. In today's gospel reading, the living water was actually found in the man sitting by Jacob's well. Sometimes this living water is found in the bread and the wine. And occasionally, it takes the form of a recovering alcoholic with an Okie accent.